Daredevil Season 1 was utterly without peer in its painterly depiction of vigilante noir, but would the formula prove irreplicable? As X go, it was going to be tougher to follow than a coked-up Donald Trump speech. So is it better than the superlative Season 1? Let's put it this way, sunshine. This is my dick. This is my dick in the immediate vicinity of a fully nude Ava Green, and this was my dick on Daredevil Season 2.
We're talking about a squad of trained killers loose on the streets. Not the kind of guys you challenge to a fist fight in your underwear.
Hey, it's not underwear, Foggy. Underwear is comfortable.
Daredevil Season 2 builds on the iconography and mythos of the already superb series, emphatically establishing itself as hands down the finest Netflix series, and in my opinion, the finest single superhero adaptation in the history of television or film. I mean, you may not even need to venture beyond that description before deciding to watch the goddamn thing, but regardless, this will be a spoiler-safe but not spoiler-free review of Daredevil Season 2, meaning I will review the show in general terms for the first half, and then at a moment of my choosing, we will light the spoiler signal, and those who have yet to view the program in question should meekly file the fuck off to do so. And believe you me, you goddamn should. And make no mistake, folks, Daredevil is modern noir, rather than mere crime fiction. The difference, you ask? Well, I'll be touching on this later whenever I finally roll out a full series on the genre in question, but where realism and grit are the watchwords of the crime genre, in film noir, realism kneels at the altar of unmitigated style. Venetian blinds where none should exist, lit from angles impractical for natural or even unnatural light sources, nairing a dame in the big dirty without a $1,000,000,000 gown draped across her glorious gams, smoke and fog in locations it would be physically impossible for it to penetrate. To answer the question of whether Daredevil is noir, you simply have to be minimally observant and answer these questions. Can Karen Page afford her Saks Fifth Avenue frocks on the meager remuneration of an impoverished secretary? I mean, does Elektra need to be dolled the fuck up in full makeup to pass out on Matt's couch? Do red highlights aid in the stealthy properties of a fucking ninja outfit? Forget it, realism. It's Chinatown. And Chinatown, in case you clam-baked your way through film school, is fucking noir. Every solitary element of the stellar first season has been honed to a fare thee well by a cast and crew who are visibly enthusiastic about the material. For all the praise heaped upon the Punisher, and we'll get to that, Charlie Cox remains stunningly convincing as Matt Murdock and Daredevil.
Matthew. You're the only person I can trust.
Oh, sweetheart. You don't break into my house and then talk to me about trust.
As he's put in more human circumstances and provides the titular character with previously unseen depths in the process. The occasionally stilted delivery of Foggy Nelson from Season 1, explained by actor Eldon Hansen as being the product of inadequate rehearsal time.
I didn't have a lot of time, or not as much time as I would normally like to prepare for a role, so...
we threw you in the deep end.
It was great to work with Charlie and Deborah, because I was able to lean on them a great deal, just sort of for help and making sure that I'm, going in the right direction with the character.
Has been completely remedied, and the Fogmeister settles comfortably into his role, providing levity and conscience to the otherwise occasionally dour and darksome proceedings. Karen Page conveys strength and vulnerability in equal measure and enjoys a far juicier story arc this season, but for me, I would be remiss not to call attention to Elodie Young's criminally underrated portrayal of Elektra for a beat. This character could have so easily backslid into the melodramatic mire of the Jennifer Garner version, but thanks to this woman's metric shitloads of acting talent and a story more worthy of the character, we finally have something resembling the original Frank Miller version of Elektra. In short, she isn't a good girl who does bad. She's a villain! Straight the fuck up. Sanctimonious SJW shrieking about her occasional vulnerability and defects of character. And we don't or merely betraying their seismic ignorance to the fact that Elektra is a fundamentally bad person, a self-absorbed dilettante and murderer who only enjoys fleeting moments of humanity thanks to characters like Stick and Daredevil momentarily pulling her back from the precipice of homicidal bloodlust to something resembling human normalcy. Elodie Young circumnavigates that delicate high wire act and sticks the landing with aplomb. And That accent. Razör likes his French girls.
You said you were blind,
No, you said I was blind.
so you can see.
It's complicated. What about you? You said you took ballet lessons.
I did, in the winters, when my capoeira master returned to Angola.
As I said on Twitter, I'm not ashamed to admit when I'm wrong, and folks, I was dead fucking wrong about Jon Bernthal as Punisher. Equal parts pugnacity and pathos, Frank Castle is a sight to behold in this series. I mean, when the Punisher, of all people, can cut a cemetery soliloquy and nearly reduce your fellow viewers to tears, you know you're witnessing an actor of superlative talents, and Jon Bernthal delivers every bit as good as former British stage actor Ray Stevenson's wildly underrated portrayal in Punisher Warzone, but even stronger simply due to the quality of the writing. But therein also lies the series' Achilles heel, but rest assured, we'll ultimately get to that in the spoiler section. I literally cannot speak another word without spitting spoilers, so in summation, Season 2 augments and enhances the ever-living shit out of the already potent potpourri that was Season 1 of Netflix Daredevil. If you love detective work, crime drama, vigilante revenge tales, and goddamn ninjas, watch that shit. Toot fucking sweet. You'll thank me later. Sound the spoiler signal! So here's the deal. I'm just going to come right out with this. It is so abundantly clear that the writers of this show are perpetually sporting a 9.5 foot Frank Castle fuck-off boner, the turgidity of which defies description. Case in point, there is a sequence near the beginning of this show where Frank Castle, a soldier, beats Daredevil, a trained goddamn ninja with radar powers, in a hand-to-hand conflagration. Like, did I miss a fucking meeting, folks? He's a soldier. He's not Jackie fucking Chan. The Punisher is a ripoff of Death Wish and Dirty Harry. Now, hang with me for a beat, folks. So Paul Kersey from Death Wish is busy shooting muggers in New York when, heavens to Murgatroyd, here comes Daredevil. Murdoch kicks the gun out of Kersey's hand. Now you tell me with a straight face that Paul Kersey could last 3 adjacent seconds in a hand-to-hand confrontation against a trained titty fucking ninja with a preternatural fucking radar sense. But the Punisher's a trained soldier. But so is Paul Kersey. Ninjas! Ninjas! The end. Just, guys, tuck your fully engorged Punisher peen away and just admit the motherfucker is getting a little overpowered these days. I mean, with a gun, he should be lethal. With a knife, less so, but still a walking slaughterhouse. Hand to hand, he's a soldier. An above average one, but just a fucking soldier. He has no business having a rooftop kung fu fist fight with Daredevil that tops out at any longer than 5 seconds and doesn't end with Daredevil putting his billy club through his fucking brain. Love the season though I may, and I certainly do, I find that all too often in comics, in cartoons, and yes, in this fucking show, the writers unashamedly play favorites with the Punisher, and it's not reserved for just Daredevil. I mean, consider for a moment that Frank Castle beat Captain Butt-fucking America. Bring that thought to a boil for a beat. Frank Castle, a soldier, beat Captain America, a fucking super soldier. It's right there in his job description. Super soldier! Cap is literally everything Frank Castle is, except 9 billion times better, and he has lost on more than one occasion to the Punisher. Doubtless while the writer was befouling the fuck out of his Punisher Max collection, firing steaming arcs of hacky jizz spray on some transparently traced Tim Bradstreet cover. Look, you like Punisher, throw yourself a fucking parade. He has no business surviving a fight with Daredevil, let alone winning. And 5.5 seconds with Captain America? Frank Castle should be goddamn vapor. Jesus fuck, Marvel, why not have him throw down with Thanos while you're at it? Worse still, the preferential treatment for Punisher means a fair fuckload of the hand subplot must be disseminated not through actual action on screen, but in arguably the most awkward sit down and explain shit dialogue sequence in the series to date. I mean, fuck, we don't even get flashbacks to the formation of the hand or the rise of the chase, just story time with Uncle Stick, children, gather round.
It all began centuries ago. Nobody knows how many, but the shit we're dipping into is ancient.
Do you hate that sequence, folks? Well, blame the fucking Punisher. If the writers weren't constantly pulling us back to Pun for a prison shower shaftathon that accomplishes precisely dick, we might have actually learned these things fucking organically. Picture, if you will, a desperate last stand, right? Like Elektra, Daredevil, and Stick against just legions of hand on some rooftop somewhere. They're holding their own, but the numbers begin to overwhelm them. Elektra goes down. Daredevil's suit is torn to shreds, giving you a more believable reason for the suit upgrade than Punisher beat a Dare Ninja in a hand-to-hand fucking fight, by the way. And now even Stick is on the ropes, when suddenly, here comes Stone, or what's the other guy's name? Shaft. Stone or Shaft, or fuck any other member of the chase. Now instead of a meandering expository dialogue sequence, we actually get to see who the chased are first. And I regret nothing, fuckwad. See what I'm driving at, though? Like, you may love Punisher, but the writer's undying ardor for the asshole is responsible for the only flaws this series suffers from. But it's worth mentioning that absolutely none of the above, folks, is any of John Bernthal's fault. Apart from one hot fucking pink caveat. What in the nut-raking fuck is the Punisher doing with that coif, people? My best friend from 3rd grade called he'd like his shitty 90s haircut back. That's the sort of dude that comes with a Walkman, a bag of Pogs, and a complimentary dick in the ass. Oh, as an aside, the death of Ben Urich, as I believe I may have expressed in my review of Season 1, it always felt just a smidge sort of tacked on, not least of which because we would later learn that it wasn't actually the writers of the show, but Marvel themselves who decreed he'd next be the one to bite the big one. In a vain effort to provide a gimmicky surprise moment in the latter episodes of the first season, might I add, and that impression is easily doubled when about 3 episodes into the season, Karen Page suddenly starts palling around at the New York Bulletin, his old newspaper, sharing snappy reportage with Ben Urich's old boss, who's taking up his recently departed friend's mantle of avuncular mentor figure as she ties the disparate threads of the curious case of Frank Castle. So, like, here's a fucking query, people. If you planned all along to have Karen Page guided through the investigation of Frank Castle by some seasoned field reporter, how's about instead of filling that role with a walking hipster beard who in his only previous encounter with Miss Page made not one indication he would piss on her corpse to extinguish a fire, causing both him and Karen to behave wildly out of character in the process, and instead, and I'm just thinking out loud here, keep Ben Urich a fucking alive! 2 seasons in, outside of manufacturing a false sense of peril, what a nebulous fuck did Ben Urich's death ultimately accomplish exactly? I mean, this is ultimately a sort of negligible grievance, I suppose, given that the New York Bulletin subplot is kept mercifully minor, but if this game of narrative musical chairs doesn't cause Marvel Studios to learn a harsh lesson in the dangers of micromanagement, they'll most assuredly be doomed to repeat it. In perusing the internet for something resembling popular consensus, I noted a prevailing sentiment, albeit among a fairly minute gaggle of protozoans, that Punisher's good, but everything else sucks, which considering Punisher's only in like 3/4 of the season, and yet it's pulling in far higher scores than Season 1 regardless, is a head-scratcher to rival Jimmy Fallon's fame, confirming in the process that the internet is habitually wrong about absolutely everything. Xbox One rumors, anyone? Speaking only for myself, I was far more interested in the Hand Elektra plot than in anything involving the Punisher for several reasons, not the least of which is that the Hand were the only thing actually moving the fucking plot forward and deepening the mythos thereby. Look, Punisher is the Punisher. He's a dude that kills dudes. Finn. It rises and falls right the fuck there. And don't go, my conspiracy subplot. Yeah, what a riveting goddamn conspiracy that was. Gosh, I wonder if the guy who plays a corrupt military general in absolutely everything ever will turn out to be a gaping prolapsed anus. Gorsh! The Hand, however, hints at Daredevil's earliest origins, those of Stick, the order he answers to, Elektra's blood-soaked destiny, weaving a fictional tapestry that can be drawn from at will literally from this point forward, and results in, hands down, the finest stunt work ever seen in a television show to this fucking point. Look, bottom line, ninjas are in the comics. They're gonna be in the fucking show, deal with it. And you can sob about wanting to see more Punisher all you like, superb John Bernthal performance or not, the plot wouldn't have actually fucking gone anywhere if they had. That goes triple for the pace-swilling, pants-shitting floaties in the shower fuckwits at the Federalist, who pissed on Daredevil, the only character with a proper fucking arc in this show, while simultaneously praising Punisher, whose fathomless Nietzschean character depths can best be summarized as I'm killing people, I'm still killing people, I've decided to continue killing people. I'd tell you to blow it out your ass, Federalist, but it's far too busy generating your arguments. And make no mistake, all of these, everything from my handful of minor quibbles to the Brandenburg Concerto of bullshit recently composed by Movie Clod, are raindrops on the face of an ocean of fuck awesome. Mere nitpicks residing in the shadow of a masterpiece. This series rules, and it rules hard. Fight choreography unmatched in any superhero show before or since, deepening drama, philosophy, and humor, while making ample time for shockingly authentic character studies for a comic show. Daredevil Season 2 does right by the comic, the series, and the Marvel Universe, and it is hands down the best thing on Netflix at this precise moment. Okay, second best. Blade Runner went up this month. I'm RazörFist. Watch this show. And God fucking speed, folks.
Devil and daughter are both on their way. The evil of her nature collects in her eyes. With him there's no fear of the door bringing light.
And here's your postscript. Netflix, disengage your thumb from your impossibly tight assholes and release this shit on DVD motherfucking yesterday. It is an abject absurdity that we are now 2 seasons distant from the launch of this series and have yet to hear one mumbling fucking word about a physical DVD Blu-ray release. Even if House of Cards and Orange is the New Black have both received multiple DVD seasons, you're seriously pretending Daredevil Season 1 being the second most downloaded thing in all of 2015 is some fucking imponderable mystery of the universe? At least half of that 2.1 million illegal downloads figure has got to be people who already are the proud owners of a legal Netflix subscription, but who don't want to rely on your janky, half-retarded network to watch the best show currently on television. They're downloading that shit and burning it on DVDs to watch at their leisure, and that doesn't have to happen. In short, they're doing your fucking job. So drop the Cheetos, slide the Victoria's Secret catalog back beneath the mattress, and pick up the fucking bit already. I'm not one for hashing the proverbial tag, but when the cause is just, I'll jump in nipple deep. Hashtag Daredevil on DVD. This shit ain't going away, Netflix. Make it happen. RazörFist, out.